Hey there, welcome back to my channel, Libby Builds. My name is Aaliyah and I am a builder in The Sims 4. And so this is another speed build, and this one is actually one that I've been excited to show you for a long time. I started building this mid-July, but I had the idea for it probably when Eco Lifestyle came out, because I didn't get the pack right away, so it took me a while to actually be able to build this. But so yeah, it's been a long time that I've had this idea for it, and I'm glad that it's finally finished and I'm ready to show you the final results. And I'm very proud of this build. It is my absolute most favorite build I've done in terms of idea and just effort I put into it. It is huge. There are 6 buildings in total. There's this main building that you are looking at right now, and it is so it's a spa, so this is the main building of the spa. And then there are 4 separate little villa type buildings where your Sims can spend the night at this retreat, maybe a weekend or even a week if they're feeling fancy. But my idea was that this was a place where your Sims can come on a little bit of a wellness vacation to kind of restore the balance in their bodies. And so it is a spa. It's considered a spa in terms of gameplay, but I have it set up kind of like a little hotel, and it's very eco related. So you'll see that this is another one of the buildings, which is just a sauna, but it is still technically a building. But there are very many areas to this build, as you would have seen in the cinematic video at the beginning of this video. And so there are a bunch of different places in this build that your Sims could hang out, enjoy nature, and all that shebang. So I made little trails even throughout this build that you will see. And so this build is very heavily focused on landscaping and more patio spaces and outdoor space. So there's a lot less interior to this build. And I'm not saying that the interior is small, I'm just saying the footage of it is a lot less than what you'll find from the landscaping and exterior. And because of that, I recognize that not everyone cares as much about exterior and landscaping. So I've put timestamps in the description of this video that are very specific and detailed that will help you kind of be able to see what you are more interested in watching. So I will have timestamped interior of main building or interior of villa number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. I'll have timestamp landscaping of the main area or landscaping of the garden area. It'll all be in the description if you weren't interested in watching the whole video or you didn't have time to. Then I have it timestamped below so that you can kind of watch what you want to see. And I'm hoping that because of the little cinematic video I had at the beginning, you'll have an idea of kind of what you're interested in seeing from this video. So obviously right now we are looking at the shell and the wallpapering kind of that. And I had a lot of fun making the shell of it, to be honest. I think it looks very interesting and intriguing to the eye. I really like the different wallpapers I used. I think it gave a lot of dimension. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know I say the word dimension a lot, but I think it's really important using wallpapers and half walls, particularly for modern builds. And even right now you can see I am making a little outjutting at the front of the building just for aesthetic purposes. I really love curb appeal when it comes to The Sims 4. I think it is very important and it looks really nice, especially on the gallery or in screenshots. So that's why I had a lot of fun making the shell. It took me a long time to do the shell, but not as long as it took me to do the landscaping. When I was looking at the footage of everything, I had about 9 hours of building the exteriors, shells, and landscaping and whatnot. It was 9 hours, and then the rest of it, because I had like 15 hours in total, the rest of it was the interior, so I had way more to do with the exterior, and I even had lost some footage. If you just noticed, all of a sudden there was a bunch of terrain tool business going on, and there were more buildings, and there was just like all the little villas there suddenly appeared. And that's because I actually like forgot to click record when I had paused it the one time to like save. So I lost a little bit of the footage, but honestly, it was probably a good thing I lost the footage because it was impossible to edit this video any shorter. I tried so hard because I even debated doing a tour video instead of a speed build, because I was like, I don't know how to keep the integrity of this build that I am so proud of, but also like shorten it enough where we're able to like show it on YouTube in a reasonable length. And I had decided I wasn't gonna do a part 1 and part 2, mostly because I didn't know how to split it up into a part 1 and part 2. Like, I could have done interior and exterior, but they would have been really unbalanced. It would have been like still a 25-minute video for the exterior and probably like a 9-minute video for the interior. Like, it wouldn't have been balanced at all. So I felt it was just better to put a bunch of timestamps in the description so that I can kind of accommodate for if you didn't want to watch the whole video, but you still wanted to kind of see like what's up with the build, because like I said, this is the build I am most proud of, so I'm hoping that you like it too. I tend to usually do like residential spaces, so doing this community lot was definitely something new for me. Like, the big building is not a residential building, but somehow I still managed to put in 4 little houses. Basically, they don't have separate bedrooms, they're like hotel rooms, but like villas, I guess that's what they would be called. And so I still had that little bit of residential aspect to the build, but that's featured way at the end of the video is the interior of those. But for the most part of this video, it is me landscaping and doing patio and outdoor spaces. So I really enjoyed doing the landscaping for this. It was very detailed, and I did not use debug. I was way too lazy to use debug in this build because it was just so big and massive that it was just a pain, and it took so much longer to go through debug. So that's kind of why this build is really expensive. But I thought, you know what, why not? Like, it's not a residential build. No one needs to buy this lot anyways, so I may as well just go all out on the money. So in the end, this lot costs $546,000, over that, almost 547. So that's a lot. I've never had a build this big. I'm usually under like 120. That's usually what I aim to be under, but this one, no. She expensive. It's because I had a lot of fun with the landscaping. Like, as you can see, I just spent so much money on just grass right there. Like, I spent so much money on it. And even with the pond that you already saw me build, like, there are 2 ponds that I build out of pools, and both of them are just filled with like grasses and algae. Like, I just went crazy with the landscaping. And good thing too, because this is supposed to be like an eco wellness retreat, so it needs to be eco, right? And so if I hadn't put all these trees in, it would have probably been like eco level, like industrial, and it would have been really embarrassing. But this one is a green lot. I double checked. I even put extra solar panels just in case. So as you can see now, I am doing one of the patios to each of the houses. So each little villa house has their own little patio, and they'll have either a pool, a hot tub, or in some cases both. And they're all different on the outside. They all have their own little fun quirks and ideas for their patio spaces, so that's why I didn't cut any of them out of the video, because they're all different. The only thing I did cut was the interiors because I kept them all very, very similar. The layouts are slightly different, but all of the items are the exact same. But as for the exteriors, everything's so different. Like this one here is a smaller like backyard, I guess you could call it. It has just the hot tub and then a little space for yoga, and you can sit down at the bench as well. But I kind of kept with the landscaping theme here, and so part of their like backyard space is just more landscaping. And then the next one, we are kind of on an elevated spot of the lot. I really enjoyed making this one specifically because I had to play a lot with the debug rocks and with the terrain tool, which you did not see me do it, but it was a pain. As always, terrain tools are always a pain, but I've been learning to enjoy it a lot more because I think it brings a lot more dimension to the build. See, I use that word a lot, but it's a very important thing to remember when you're building is levels, like of patios and stuff, or even pools. Like the pool in this lot, like the community pool, it's a raised pool. It's not just flat on the ground. Like when you use your levels, it really adds a lot more interest to the eye. So like this one here has like stairs leading up to a little platform and then more stairs to be at the main deck level, and then you're at the like main house, and then there's multiple levels in the back in their backyard for what their patio is. Can't remember which patio this one is, but one of them has a lot of seating in it, and that's because I designed one of them to be like a 2-bedroom kind of villa. Even though it's not in bedrooms, it's like a 2-bed. So it's like if you went to a hotel, you'd ask for like one with just 1 bed or one with 2 beds. This one happens to be one that only has 1 bed. Now that I'm looking at it, I recognize which one it is. And this one just has a little pool and a little seating area. It's got a little bit of a smaller lot. I think the ones on the other side are slightly bigger in lot size, I guess you could say. And this one here is just the pool, but I really like the pool. It has that little like overhang of the wooden debug item from Eco Lifestyle, and I think it makes it look kind of cool and more interesting as a pool. And it really like fits the lot perfectly. Like I keep calling them lots, but they're all on the same lot. But just because I basically made 4 houses on this community lot, I'm calling them like separate lots in this video for some reason, but they really are like separate little lots. Like theoretically, if you wanted to, your sim could own maybe like a 2,000 empty lot or something from like Willow Creek. They could just have an empty lot, whatever, and then spend all of their time here, and you can pretend this is their house and they wouldn't even have to pay for it because they'd just be chilling out. Like you could take over one of the homes if you wanted to. Just a thought for gameplay if you wanted to download this off the gallery. And speaking of this video, this build will be on the gallery. And my gallery ID is Libby Builds, and so you can download it there. You will need to download it. You will need Eco Lifestyle, Discover University, Get Together, Jungle Adventure, Spa Day, Patio stuff, Backyard stuff, and the free holiday stuff too. I don't even know what item it is that made it into this build, but somehow one item makes it into my builds like all the time. So that is also something you may need. It's probably not important. It's probably just one item that you wouldn't even notice if you didn't have it downloaded, but yeah. But in terms of the interior building of this, you'll see later that I had put some like fitness stuff as well as possibly city living. You may see that. I may have cut that, but I kind of wasn't paying attention and accidentally put city living stuff in. And I had originally planned on using fitness stuff, but then when I decided that I wasn't going to use the rock wall anymore, I was like, okay, there's no reason to have fitness stuff anymore. But my original plan was to have like a rock climbing area, but that didn't pan out the way I wanted to because of wall heights. I didn't realize that the rock climbing wall was like so tall. You need a tall wall height to be able to use it, so I did not have that. But anyways, as for what you're seeing right now, this is the third house now that we are on, and this one has a hot tub, a pool, and a bunch of seating. So this is the one I was referring to earlier about how it is a 2-bed, like there's what you would call a double or something if you went to a hotel. So there will be 2 beds inside this house, which is why it's a little more maybe family friendly. It's not, the idea isn't to bring your family here, but I did make sure that one of the villas was able to accommodate more people. So even if you downloaded this and your sim lives in like a student kind of house, not a student, but you live with a bunch of friends or something, then you can take like a weekend trip here with the girls, and there's 2 beds, so that's 4 sleeping spots, and you have a hot tub, a pool, like a little bar seating area. So it's definitely accommodating for different play styles if you were to download this anyways. But I really personally like this backyard area more. I think they kind of got better as I went around, and this one definitely I like the most, possibly because it's a little bigger than the first 2. But the first 2 do have items for like spa day, like they have the yoga mats and the like meditation thing, whatever it's called. But this one here just has like pools and like hot tubs and stuff, which is always fun for just gameplay and storytelling. And I did keep a lot of like the footage of me landscaping, just because I thought that like it's not a tutorial on how to landscape, but it was more so me thinking if someone wanted to see how other people landscape, then I kept it in, because sometimes people learn a little bit better just from watching. And because my video here is so full of landscaping, I kept a lot of it in, or the concepts of it in. So I will give my little 2 cents on my landscaping experience, as I've kind of been doing it a little bit more in depth, is kind of stick with the same like 5 or 6 different plants and just mix them all in. So in this one here, I used the grass a lot, or 2 different kinds of grasses. I used the like fern from base game and a few of the like small little flowers, as well as the like wildflowers. So I kind of stuck with those same like under 10 different types of plants, and I didn't go too crazy with making them all different. I tried to keep them very uniform across the land because I wanted it to feel very natural. And that was the specific design for this build. It may not be the same for another build you're doing. Like if you were doing a build that was more focused on like a botanical garden, you'd probably want a little more detail. You'd want to use a lot more different items just because it's like a botanical garden or something. But this one here was supposed to be like a nature kind of wellness experience. And this is also just a build I wanted to do in general because it really inspires me in terms of real life, because I find that nature is a very restorative factor as human beings. Like we need nature to kind of feel whole, and a lot of people aren't as connected with nature as they probably should be. I had learned a little bit about nature therapy. It's still a very like growing part of like therapeutic lessons. It's a very new kind of thing. So there's not a whole lot known about it still, but what we do know is that nature in general is just very like healing, and makes you feel a lot more connected with yourself as well as to your place in the world. And so that's kind of how this build came to be, is that I was really inspired when I got the bundle of Spa Day Eco Lifestyle, and I got like, I think it was backyard stuff I got in that one. And so I was like, if I put all of these 3 packs together, I can make like a little eco resort to kind of represent that kind of feeling I have about nature and how it's important, because it really is. And so honestly, if this place existed in real life, it'd be pretty cool, because it's like you come and it's a spa basically, and you come and you can walk. There's like a nature walk in the back, far back center of the lot, and that's supposed to be for like just walking. You're just supposed to walk and be mindful and just breathing and experiencing nature for what it is. And then, but this is also like a resort, so you still get the pools and the hot tubs and the saunas. So it's supposed to just be like a relaxing place for your Sims to come and to just experience. And so I also put other like activities. So there's like the pond there where your Sims can go fishing. And that's kind of like a quiet outdoor activity that kind of like felt fitting for this kind of build. And there's actually another little walking space at the front of the build on the right side. The footage is not in this video. I cut it because it looks like I had lost some of that footage too, and so keeping what I had in, it didn't work, but it exists and you'll see it in the screenshots. It's just another little place for your Sims to wander. I kind of wish that we had like a gameplay feature where you can make trails. Like, I thought about this yesterday, and it would be so cool if you just had a lot and you put a bunch of trees on it and you used terrain tools and you like laid out like a trail map and your Sims could follow the trail. And I just thought that was really cool. So I thought about that yesterday. I don't think it's actually like a worthwhile gameplay idea, but I think it's still cool if it existed. I just don't think a lot of other people would be as interested in it as I am. And also, if it already exists, then I'm just a loser who knows nothing, but I don't think it does. I obviously don't have every pack, but I don't know. And as for communal spaces, like, I wanted to make sure that not only was there private little villa spaces, there was also communal spaces. So there's the pool that's a little raised, and then behind it, the lower down patio area that has a bunch of seating and the barbecue. And I kind of imagine that as a nice gathering place for people to come and eat their food when they're on their retreat. And then that leads out to the back where that trail is that I had mentioned before. And if you had noticed, the ground was glitching like a lot in the patio space, and don't worry, it's fixed. I don't really remember what the issue was because I fixed it a long time ago. Like I said, I had been doing this build for a month and a half, so I don't remember what the issue was at all, but it's fixed. And there's a few other things in the build that I have fixed. There was some wallpaper that was missing on one of the villas. One of the lights in the interior was way too big, and your Sims, like, if they wanted to walk through it, they would have walked right into the light, and I was like, oops, so I sized that down. Just little stuff like that. And I think those were the only things. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely wanted to make it feel very like naturey, and almost like this place really worked with the ecosystem there instead of just demolishing it. So there's like 3 ponds. One is a fishing pond, but the other 2 are just like ponds I made out of pools, and just to kind of give it a little more vibey kind of feel to the lot. But we're actually kind of starting on the interior now, and you'll see I'm doing like the little entrance reception area, and there's gonna be a like computer at a desk there. There are 2 computers on the lot. Both are kind of in place as like reception desks. And that's just because I wanted to feel a little realistic. Kind of like if you came into this place, you'd walk up to the desk, you'd check in, they'd give you your like key to your villa or just your day pass if you were only there for the day, and they'd let you in through the gate and you'd go in and you'd enjoy your spa eco wellness experience. And I also wanted to make sure that some of the like eco experiences from the outside were carried in on the inside. So you'll see that I have like a little indoor giant terrarium type thing. Can't think of like a courtyard, but you don't walk through it. It's just a bunch of plants. And it's just kind of in the center of the main floor as a focal piece, creating some hallways for the other spaces as well. And I think it just looks really cool. It adds a lot more dimension to the interior, which is something that's also hard to come by sometimes. And you'll notice that parts of these builds, I didn't show all of it. So there are like a lot of doubles or mirrors to some rooms. And so there's like a masseuse room here, and there are 2 of them. I didn't delete one of the footage just because I kind of did them at the same time, because my game had crashed like 4 times when I was doing this part of the build, and I kept losing all the footage, like all of it, like all the builds. So eventually when I got it and I saved it, I did them both at the exact same time really quickly. So that's kind of why it's like incredibly fast and like straightforward, is because I knew what I was doing. I had done it 5 times in the past like half hour before I finally got it right. But anyways, later in the build, there's like upstairs bathrooms, and I own, or not bathrooms, but like bathrooms, but not like to go to the bathroom, but like to bathe. Because my idea was that it was like a mud bathroom, and you would go in and have your mud bath, and then there's a shower where you can shower after, and there's a locker to put your stuff in there too. But there's no toilet. Like my idea was like, this is not a toilet room, this is a bath room. However, there are communal bathrooms like to go to the toilet also upstairs, just in a different part. I don't know why I'm talking about this now, because we are not watching that now. We are looking at the patio space outside, and so it's just a little bar area. It's just kind of like, I didn't know what to put there, to be honest, because this build, like I said, huge 64 by 64 lot, never done one before, so it was hard to fill up space when it was like supposed to be a patio area, but I had already done like so many patio areas at that point that I was kind of tired of making patios. So I was like, how do I make this different? I put a bar on it, and there's also another bar area upstairs. You'll see it later. And speaking of the bar space upstairs, I kind of wish that I had dine out for this pack, because I made it kind of look like a restaurant vibe with tables and chairs and stuff, but I just use a bar instead. But I kind of wish if I had dine out, I could have maybe made it look a little more like a outdoor restaurant patio area. But since I don't have that pack, that's just kind of what we end up with. But if you were to download this and you have that pack, by all means change that for that, just because I think it would be really cool. But as for what we're actually watching, it's kind of like a little meditation room, very plant-like, and it opens up through those glass doors out onto like a little deck area with some yoga mats. So this is kind of where I imagine classes to be taking place, where you come for your like wellness meditation experience with a group of people, and then you can go out and do your little yoga class out on the deck. I probably should have flipped those now that I'm thinking about it. For realism, there's probably going to be more people doing the yoga class inside, and then the meditation on their own outside, where it's like they're not in a crowd. But It's The Sims. It doesn't have to be super realistic. It's fine. But this is the upstairs deck I was talking about that would really benefit from being like a little restaurant type thing. But I think this is good enough for what I have. Obviously, it would be pretty cool if I had dine out to make this like a little restaurant, but just having a little bar area with seating here and as well on the little like balcony type space upstairs as well. So there's plenty of spaces for your sim to come sit and hang out with their friends. And I even put like a little back area with a bigger table for if your sim had a bigger party for in terms of like restaurants. That way they could have more sims sit down at the table rather than all the other tables, which are just 4 sims to a table. I just wanted to keep it very uniform too. I think it looks really nice as a patio space, to be honest. Like, it also creates a lot more interest for the outside, just in terms of levels of there being more patio and seating on a upper level rather than just on the main like ground floor outside at their like villas. Like, this is a community lot, so yeah, you can stay here for like a weekend or something. But the idea was also so that you could come for the day and you could hang out with your friends, and it's supposed to be a community lot. What I didn't do was I didn't add a toddler potty at all in this lot, but I think before I upload it on the gallery, I will go in and add one, just because if you did want to bring your whole family here, I know it's not really like a family experience, maybe it would benefit from having that. I might not add it just because this is supposed to be like an adult kind of experience. Like, you're not supposed to bring your whole family, but if you wanted to, you can always throw it in one of these bathrooms that are here in the like upstairs kind of creating room, which brings me to this room. It's like what I imagine a creation room. So I thought about things that could have been like relaxing or calming and restorative in terms of like activities. And so I thought like candle making and painting, just because I know people use painting a lot for like art therapy, and I thought maybe candles are therapeutic too. I mostly just wanted to use something from Eco Lifestyle, and I figured candle making was a good option. I didn't think that juice fizzing was necessarily the right vibe, neither was the fabricator, but I think the candle making definitely fits. And I went a little intense on the debug items, cluttering up shelves with candles, and you know what, that's my vibe. I like it. It's okay. It's great. And I just wanted to make a little like activity space as well, so that if your Sims come here, they're not just like pampered all the time, they're also experiencing like their feelings in terms of like art. And I kind of thought about it would be kind of cool maybe if I had put one of those like tea makers, because then you could change your Sims emotion and then they could experience their emotions through their painting. But I don't really have a kitchen on the main building lot, so I didn't really think it was necessary. But in terms of the villas, which you'll see, I only show you 2 of the interiors, but they have the exact same items, and I didn't put very many because honestly the file for the lot was getting pretty big, and I wanted people to actually be able to play with this if you wanted to. It's really big and it's probably really laggy, but unless you have a good computer, I don't know. I was able to play with it fine when I was taking screenshots, which is surprising because my laptop is really bad, but I know some people have worse laptops than I do, so I don't know. We'll see. But what I was saying is that I didn't add like the tea making stuff, but if you were to do that yourself, then you can manipulate your Sims emotions to get like more interesting and dynamic paintings. And what you're seeing now is the bathroom I talked about before, like the bath room. And it's literally, my idea was that your Sims go for a mud bath. They have their shower after and then they leave. Like, that's why there was also like a little desk there, because there's only 2 bath rooms. So I figured there would have to be a receptionist there to make sure that people came at their scheduled times and that there wasn't just like so many people trying to use the bathroom at once. And as you can see now, we are working on one of the villas. I only show the interior for 2 of them and the bathroom for only the 1, because the bathrooms are all the exact same. But this one here is the double one with the 2 beds. I wanted to include this one because it's the only one with 2 beds in it. All the other ones are just 1 bed, but they're all the exact same bed with the exact same like furnishing types and furniture items. And all the kitchens are the exact same like style. They're just like slightly different layouts because the houses are slightly different shapes and different locations for like where their door to their patios are. So that's kind of where that's at. But you'll see the second villa that I show in a second, but we will be coming up on the screenshots very soon. And I just wanted to say thank you so much if you stuck through this video, or even if you didn't and you used the timestamps. I really appreciate you watching this video. It was my favorite favorite build to make in The Sims. I'm very proud of it, and I think it turned out really well. In 2 years, I might say this is absolute crap, but right now I think it looks really nice. So thank you so much for watching this. If you haven't already, hit that like button, leave a comment down below telling me what you think of this build, and if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. So bye-bye!